This is Dott TV News at 4. I am Chiamaka Ezapota, and here are the stories we have for you. Delta State government says it remains committed to attracting credible private investment that will stimulate economic growth, create jobs, and bridge the state housing deficit. The assurance was given by the Secretary to the state government, Kingsley Emu, at his office in Asaba during a meeting with the management of Hand of God Construction Company Limited, which presented a proposal to develop 2,000 affordable housing units in Delta State.
The SAG said Governor Sheriff Obori's administration has sustained massive infrastructure development and created a peaceful and business-friendly environment that continues to attract investors into key sectors of the state's economy. He noted that Delta has emerged as one of Nigeria's fastest-growing destinations for domestic direct investment, recording increasing interest in real estate, commerce, and other productive ventures. The SSG reaffirmed government's readiness to partner with genuine investors in addressing the state's housing needs, stressing that while government alone cannot meet the growing demand for housing, strategic partnerships with the private sector will help close the gap.
It's strange that you had a lot of destructions in the first place you got located. I think we'll investigate that matter very strongly as a state, because that is not very good optics for the states. We don't know how you fell into how the acquisition was done and whether you exercised due diligence, but it's something that we would like to look into and see how we can work around it when we have the full details. The housing deficit is huge and it's obvious. There are more in the urban areas than in the rural areas because of migration.
Earlier, the managing director of Hand of God Construction Company Limited, David Nwachukwu, said the company plans to construct 2,000 affordable housing units in Delta State within 24 months. He disclosed that the project is expected to generate about 34,000 direct and indirect jobs, improve internally generated revenue, and provide affordable homes for civil servants and low and middle income earners through long-term mortgage financing.
If there is no solid plan on ground, our teeming civil servants may retire without a house of their own. And that is why we decided to get into housing for middle and low income earners.
Meanwhile, the Delta State government also used the occasion to encourage investors to leverage the opportunities available in the state and participate in the forthcoming Delta State Economic and Investment Summit, aimed at attracting global partnerships and driving sustainable economic development.
We're having very experts in all these areas who are practitioners locally and then from outside, and financiers to be in that location. The beauty of the exhibition booths is that Mr. Vice President and all of these people, under a full live coverage, will go around the booths. So you have the opportunity to sell yourself to the world and what you can do.
Emeka Okonkwo reporting for Dott TV News.
Talking politics now. Stakeholders of the All Progressive Congress, APC, in Delta Central Senatorial District have endorsed the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Governor Sheriff Oboriwori and all the candidates of the party for a strategic meeting held at the Petroleum Training Institute, PTI Conference Center, Ifuron, Delta State.
Moving the motion for the endorsement, the party's founding leader, Chief Otega Emero, commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Governor Sheriff Oboriwori for their policies and programs he said were impacting Nigerians and Deltans positively. The motion was subsequently put to a voice vote by the Delta State APC chairman, Chief Solomon Areyinka, and was unanimously adopted. Addressing the people, Areyinka said the stakeholders meeting across the three senatorial districts were conceived after the State Working Committee reviewed party activities during its June 11 meeting and resolved that each senatorial district should convene meetings to strengthen the party ahead of the 2027 general elections.
Having listened to the omnibus motion moved by our able Chief Otega Emero and ably supported by Chief Alex Agoda, endorsing our president, endorsing our governor, and all other candidates of our party for the 2027 elections. All those in support of the motion say aye.
Earlier, chairman of the APC in the Delta Central Senatorial District, Chief Paulinus Akpeki, said the governor's emergence as the party's governorship candidate reflected, Akpeki said, the successful conduct of the party's congresses and primaries had strengthened internal democracy and positioned the APC for future electoral success, and attributes the peaceful outcome of the exercise to Oborewori's leadership.
Today's gathering is not merely another meeting for making long speeches, but a time for introspection, honest engagement, strategic planning, reconciliation where necessary, and the renewal of our collective resolve to secure victory for our party at every level in the forthcoming general elections.
Addressing the gathering, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Chief Festus Keyamo, congratulated all candidates who emerged victorious in the party's primaries and commended those who were unsuccessful for remaining loyal to the APC.
This is also the time, and this is something we are missing here, to know that those who have cemented the party together are the aspirants who lost gallantly, fought gallantly, and lost gallantly. We must give them a round of applause. They are the ones who are holding this party together. This is a meeting to start planning to win elections. You cannot plan to win election leaders without empowering these people. We must empower them to go to the field.
Speaking on behalf of women in the district, Executive Director of Business Development at Nexim Bank, Honorable Stella Okotete, assured party leaders that Delta Central will deliver at least 1 million votes for the APC in the 2027 general elections. She called for greater inclusion, support, and empowerment of women and youths, describing them as critical to the party's electoral success.
On behalf of the resilient, hardworking, committed women of our great party, the All Progressives Congress, Delta Central, we are gathered at a defining moment in the history of our great party. We are reminded that elections are not merely contests, but they are platforms for growth, for development, and for renewed hope.
Priscilla Ifeanyi, Dott TV News.
Similarly, the Working People United has officially launched its Delta State chapter, declaring support for President Bola Tinubu and Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborewori, while unveiling plans to mobilize workers and older residents ahead of the 2027 general elections. The group also announced the investiture of former Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa as its patron during the inauguration held at the Nigeria Labour Congress Secretariat, Asaba, Delta State.
Speaking at the event, former president of the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers and national trustees of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Prince William Sakbera, described the WOPU as a civic and political movement established to promote good governance and encourage greater participation of working people in politics. According to him, the organization represents workers in both the formal and informal sectors and seeks to influence public policy while supporting leaders it believes are committed to improving the welfare of Nigerians.
We believe that even as working people, when I mean working people, we're talking about organized labor and both from formal and informal sectors that are contributing productively to the economy of this country. That we all are united in one at this time to say, yes, we can continue to canvass for good policies for ourselves, but again to also identify at any point in time who to also project for political offices.
In his acceptance speech, the newly inaugurated Delta State Coordinator of the WOPU, Ogwerejitono Obataye, promised to lead the organization in line with its constitution and intensify public enlightenment and government policies. He said many residents were not adequately informed about government programs and pledged to use social media and other platforms to engage more people.
We pledge to abide by the rules and regulations of Working People's United and also to pilot the affairs of this body to an enviable height. I want to tell you that as workers, we are well attuned to mobilization, and I know that mobilization is one of the core roles of this corps. And of course, the issue of civic duty.
Priscilla Ifani, Dott TV News.
Meanwhile, the Court of Appeal in Abuja has set aside a judgment that directed the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to register the African Democratic Congress, ADC, and 4 other political parties over allegations that they failed to meet constitutional requirements. In a unanimous decision by a 3-member panel of justices, the appellate court held that the order issued by the Federal High Court on June 15 was a nullity. In the lead judgment delivered by Justice Abba Mohammed, the court held that the trial court wrongly assumed jurisdiction and issued the order on the basis of an incompetent suit warranted the consequential order directing INEC to register the affected political parties. Away from politics, the Anambra State government has constituted an investigation panel to determine the cause of the collapse of a private student hostel near the Federal Polytechnic, Oko, which has claimed at least 2 lives, with some occupants still unaccounted for. The Commissioner for Physical Planning and Urban Development, Chijioke Ojukwu, who disclosed this, said the panel comprises presidents and secretaries of professional bodies in the building industry in Anambra State, including engineers, architects, builders, town planners, officials of the Ministry of Physical Planning, and representatives of the Anambra State Materials Testing Laboratory. He said the panel's primary responsibility is to establish the exact cause of the collapse and prevent speculation surrounding the incident. The commissioner added that the investigation would also cover other buildings in the vicinity of the residents provided intelligence on structures suspected to have similar defects. In a related development, at least 3 persons have been confirmed dead after a 2-story building reportedly sank into the ground on Bali Road in the Ajuwa area of Ifo local government area of Ogun State. The Southwest Zonal Director of the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Saheed Akiode, who confirmed the development at the scene on Tuesday, said debris evacuation was still ongoing. According to him, the entire structure would have to be brought down completely to enable rescue workers access everything beneath the collapsed building. He appealed to residents to remain calm, assuring them that emergency responders were doing everything necessary to manage the situation. Still in Ogun State, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has announced the official shutdown of 3 alcohol manufacturing companies in Ota, Ogun State, for allegedly violating the federal government's ban on producing alcoholic beverages in sachets and PET bottles. A statement by the agency noted that the sting operation was led by the Assistant Director of NAFDAC's Investigation and Enforcement Directorate, Kunke Ojo. During the enforcement exercise, NAFDAC said its team uncovered several violations across the affected factories. The agency said its officials inspected the first facility last Friday and found sachet alcohol in active production alongside large quantities of PET bottles. To Lagos, where State Environmental Protection Agency, LASEPA, has sued 5 hospitality establishments in Ikorodu over persistent environmental infractions. The agency disclosed this in a statement posted on its official X handle on Tuesday. LASEPA said the enforcement followed repeated warnings, abatement notices, and opportunities given to the affected establishment to address the identified violations. It said the exercise was in line with the Lagos State Government directive to enforce environmental laws and safeguard public health. And that's on the foreign scene. We also have sports stories all coming up after the break. Please stay with us.
In the heart of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.
Thanks for still being there. Now to the rest of our stories. The Commissioner of Police, Federal Capital Territory Command, Ahmed Sanusi, has ordered the Audley Room chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices, and Other Related Offences Commission, Musa Adamu Aliyu. The FCT Police Command disclosed this in a statement issued on Tuesday by its spokesperson, Josephine Ade. The officers identified are ASP Clement Ehigala, ASP Sunday Obe, Inspector Samuel Onoja, and Sergeant Yakubu Emmanuel. According to the command, the incident occurred on July 11, 2026 at about 3:34 p.m. when the officers allegedly left their statutory duty post and proceeded to the Banex Plaza Junction in Wuse 2, where they conducted an unauthorized traffic enforcement operation. The command said that disciplinary proceedings had commenced against the officers in line with established police regulations. And now to the foreign scene. Uganda's Minister of Health on Tuesday declared the country Ebola-free following the East African nation's latest outbreak of the viral hemorrhagic disease, which infected 20 people and claimed 2 lives. Uganda has experienced multiple Ebola outbreaks since 2000, when it recorded its first epidemic. However, health officials said the country has over the years developed the expertise needed to bring recent outbreaks under control quickly with limited community transmission. 15 people in the latest outbreak, which was declared in mid-May, were infected in neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo, the epicenter of the epidemic, where confirmed cases have exceeded 3,000. Elsewhere, police say they received a report of an explosion at the Ion Moore outlets in the Kumamoto region, but the force did not provide information on damage or any casualties. The fire department in Japan's Kashima town have released a statement confirming a shopping complex second floor collapsed, leaving many people trapped inside following an earthquake on Tuesday afternoon. According to preliminary measurements, a 7.1 magnitude earthquake struck Kumamoto Prefecture in southern Japan, the Japan Meteorological Agency reported. One person was killed when a house collapsed, according to Kodo News. Meanwhile, police in Toronto are investigating after a gunshot was fired at the U.S. consulate in the city the second time this year such an incident has happened. Earlier on Monday morning, an officer stationed outside the consulate building heard the sound of a single gunshot and noticed a white car without a license plate fleeing the scene. Police briefly engaged in a high-speed car chase before ending it over safety concerns. No injuries were reported in the incident, and it is unclear how many individuals were involved in the attack. In another development, a judge has ruled that a U.S. musician, David, will go on trial for murder over the death of a teenage girl. The decision came after a 5-day preliminary hearing in which Los Angeles prosecutors questioned a dozen witnesses and displayed photographic evidence as 14-year-old Celeste Rivers Hernandez's family watched on. The 21-year-old star, whose remains were found last September in a Tesla registered to his address. Prosecutors have alleged Buck stabbed the teen before dismembering her body after years of sexual abuse. They alleged David killed her because the teen had threatened to reveal his relationship with a minor and destroy his multi-million-dollar music career. For sports stories, let's now join Anthony Uche.
10-time champions Nigeria begin their 2026 Women's Africa Cup of Nations title defense against debutants Malawi on Tuesday at Al Madina Stadium in Rabat. Super Falcons coach Justin Madugu declared that his side approaches every game with a sole focus on victory as they target a record-extending 11th continental title. Nigeria entered the match in superior form, having won 8 of their last 9 games, including a 2-1 victory in warm-up against Tanzania, sealed by goals from Rashida Tajibade and Esther Okoronkwo. While in contrast, the tournament debutants Malawi have lost 5 of their last 6, failing to score in any of them and arrive off the defeat to Ghana by 4-0. Meanwhile, FIFA President Gianni Infantino has delivered a response to critics of the just concluded 2026 FIFA World Cup in a 15-part statement published on Instagram. Dismissing scrutiny over visa restrictions, travel logistics, and contentious disciplinary decisions, Infantino maintained the expanded tournament across North America was a total success, characterized by 100% safety and security and global unity. Pushing back against the critics and operational complaints, he urged critics to reflect, meditate, pray, or watch a football match triumph that showcased the power of football to bring nations together. Now to Italy, where former midfielder Andrea Pirlo has confirmed that he is no longer in the running to become the next coach of the Italian national team. Pirlo's proposed appointment unraveled following public and political backlash over his commercial deal as a global brand ambassador for Russian bookmaker FunBet. Italian politicians and federation officials raised concerns over the potential conflict of interest and optics amid the ongoing geopolitical situation. In a post published on Instagram, Pirlo clarified that the commercial agreement was signed purely for sports and business reasons during his coaching tenure in the United Arab Emirates. He rejected any political interpretation of the deal, expressing bitterness that a sporting decision had been dragged into a political debate. Pirlo had emerged as the frontrunner under the endorsement of FICG Technical Director Paolo Maldini and advisor Leonardo, who have now left their roles following the collapse of the deal. Finally, on some transfer news, Chelsea are in talks to sign veteran duo Jordan Henderson from Brentford and Danny Welbeck from Brighton. The potential moves follow a statement from co-owner Bedard El-Bali that Chelsea's youth-centric recruitment strategy needs a deal but can live on the free transfer. Meanwhile, Welbeck, coming off a career-best 13 Premier League goals last season, is eager for the move to Stamford Bridge, with Chelsea optimistic about concluding a deal despite the striker extending his Brighton contract through 2027 earlier this year. Antonucci for Dott TV News.
And that's all we have for you on Dott TV News at 4. Thank you for your time. I am Chiamaka Ezapota.